Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
All right, TCB listeners, I have an incredible guest today, and that is actually Dr. Kelly Polzin. Dr. Kelly, how are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous. Thanks for having me, Ed. I really am excited about being here.
Yeah, I'm always excited for guests, but I'm really excited because there's actually a bit of a history here for us, being that we practiced in really almost the same town. Like you were in Edmonton, Alberta. I was in St. Albert, but we've known each other for quite some time then. So it's very cool.
I think we're like 7 years in, actually. I think it was 2011 when I first met you out at your practice. And that's
full circle.
You were just like banging it out like crazy back then. And it was like just one of the most booming practice I did, certainly in St. Albert.
We're going to totally go off the hook here. So here's the thing is like the universe is just like giving these crazy messages and signals to me lately. And I see a lot of people who have been in my past are coming back and they're being part of my life again. So I know who you are. We'll start with this. Why don't you share with our listeners, okay, who is Dr. Kelly Polzin?
I am a father of 3 amazing kids. They have been an anchor for me through everything. And, all of us, I believe, go through different times of struggle in your life, and you have to have those anchors. My anchors are my kids. They are absolutely the thing that keeps me going on a day-to-day basis. So I'm a father. I am a chiropractor. I'm probably a little bit of mad scientist, and definitely, a businessman. That was my first degree, actually, was in business. And ever since I got my first business degree, I've been deep entrenched in, business. And I think that's probably what attracted me to continue to expand. And then when I finally found my calling as a healthcare person, I think my whole, mission as being a healer and an educator was just all funneled from the business world. So I just saw a need to take it to another level, and that's kind of what I've been doing. So I've been a chiropractor since 2005 is when I made it my way back to Canada, and 2006 is when I opened my first practice.
Wow. And so why was it Edmonton? What was the pull? Was that somewhere that you grew up or?
I did. I went to school at Palmer in in San Jose, California, and I did love it there. But I guess my family is what I was always. I just had to come home to my family, and this is where I wanted to raise my kids, and this is where I grew up, and I want more for my kids now. But I still think Edmonton, for the weather that we do have, may not be that great, but the people here are off the charts.
Yeah, good people. Yeah. And which is why we were there for 13 some years, and then we just couldn't do any more with the snow. That was enough. We were done.
Totally understand. I totally understand.
Okay, so positive words, quote, affirmation. Drop some words of meaning for our listeners.
I find that in my life, I've been through like at different times in your life, you'll resonate with different things. And in my life right now, where I really truly resonate with is, and I don't even know where this quote comes from. I honestly don't know who said this first, but how you do anything is how you do everything. And when you start looking at different, people that are really, really got their shit together, you'll find that, they try to have all their areas of their life balanced and moving forward at the same time. You generally don't find these people that are, like people that you want to emulate. And I'm not talking about like the crazy people out there. I'm just talking about like really high performing people that have a great life, a great family, great balance, great business, great body, nice, like healthy. They're moving all the balls forward at the same time. So generally, it's not like somebody that's like super crazy successful in one area and it's a shit show in the other areas. That's not the norm for people that I want to emulate. And I've found that people that, you know, my mentors that really do have their stuff together, they try to move all the balls forward at the same time. So that's been really resonating really with me lately.
Yeah. And I totally get that. And it's one of the things that I work on constantly. And, you know, it's part of also like, I know that you follow Garrett J. White, a warrior, and now Men of Iron. And it's like, what do we, you know, why do we do all of this, especially as men or as entrepreneurs, even in general, right? So men or women, like, why do we work so hard? It really comes back to balance and family and all of those things.
Yeah.
So.
And I have lived that many years where I was so focused only on one thing. And yeah, when you're only focused on one thing, you can make that ball move forward, but at what cost? Right. And I experienced that on the far side where I had moved my practice to great levels, and it was like a super big practice in Edmonton here. And it was just a beautiful practice. But the cost when I got there and I looked back and I had left a carnage of like just, you know, behind me of, you know, wounded relationships and my health. And that was actually the beginning of the end for the health for me. But, you know, the cost that it took me to get there wasn't worth it. So that was when then I burnt it all to the ground, right? Like it was the story that when I finally built what I wanted to build, because I didn't do it properly with the proper foundations, that it didn't mean anything when I got there. And then I just, you know, burnt the whole thing right down.
Well, and that is a perfect segue, by the way, into the shit sandwich portion of this podcast is, you know, like we're all presented with challenges and struggles. What I've learned now is, you know, being an entrepreneur and not just like an online entrepreneur, not just a chiropreneur, but is that we're, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. We all have struggles. We all have challenges. So for you specifically, what was that one time that you had just an incredible resistance, what you learned from that experience, and then how you apply that to your business or life today?
Oh man, Ed, I remember this so clearly. Like I took a selfie of myself at that moment because I wanted to document rock bottom. And it actually, so what happened at that point when I had that beautiful big practice and it was like, you know, this thing that I always wanted, and I sold it in a fire sale. I just needed, I went to Italy and I told my associate, listen, when I get back, this thing better be gone. So you talk to whoever you need to talk to, you get rid of it. And so he bought it for 1/20th of its yearly revenue. And that was like $150,000 or geez, it was more than that. I don't want to go to it was the cost of the entire clinic was covered by the equipment inside, not the leaseholds, nothing, just the equipment. So I blew it up, and then the wheels really fell off. I thought I was going to be able to recover nicely, put it all back together, but because, you know, I wasn't working my health and building my body. I wasn't building my mind. My relationships were suffering. And then I blew my business up. I had nothing. I remember this so clearly. I was sitting in this little tiny office that I had just rented to try to create something. And it was a Sunday afternoon and I was so lost and overweight, and I was like, how did I get here? Like, I'm supposed to know shit. I'm supposed to be smart, and I'm fat. I'm depressed, and I'd never been depressed before. That was my first experience with depression. And I was just like, that was it. I was like truly at rock's bottom. And oh my God, I can remember it so clearly. It's like, I could totally make myself cry right now. Cause it was like, you know, that was like truly when you're at the bottom, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the like, not the crazy thing, but it kind of is the crazy thing, is that out of, you know, we had this conversation before I started recording, like out of 300 interviews, I think I've only ever had one person say they've never had any sort of resistance or struggle and that everything came together. But the reality is for most of us is we've been in the pit. Like, so let's make the transition though. I mean, like, I've been able to reconnect with you in the last few months, and I can see what you're building and what you're creating. And now you're actually even helping other doctors duplicate and create results in their business, but also in their life. Like, it's massive changes. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on.
This is out of that. I'm very attracted towards the Phoenix for some reason. I think, and perhaps it came from that part in my life when I felt like everything was on fire, and like I've come full circle from that, and so out of that fire has come like a true passion to. I mean, I'm on a mission, Ed, and it's funny. I've never verbalized it yet. So this will be the very first time I verbalize it. And as I was really spent the last 9 months actually really putting it together in terms of what that mission looks like, it's just feeding this fire inside of me. And the mission is that I'm about now is I'm on a 100% mission to help North Americans lose 100 million pounds of body fat. And it's going to come at 22 pounds at a time. So what I've been spending like the last basically 7 years creating is this system that helps people get their health back. And it's not like low carb. It's not aggressive. It's a completely new way of living life. And I mean, we call it K22 or ChiroKeto. And this, like the the ketogenic lifestyle, it's not particularly new, but how we implement it, I think, is. And we've coached now enough people that I've seen the pitfalls. I've seen where people fall off. I've seen where people start to lose it. But oh my God, when you help them along, when you coach them through it, when you get them to see the light, the joy on the other side of them when they get their health back, that's power. And you and I have talked many times about, make sure you maintain your power. Make sure you find a way to hold on to your power. And when you can show people that they can have their health back, that, cancer and cardiovascular heart disease and diabetes isn't their future, that they actually have the power to determine whether or not that's going to be a thing. And for once, I have a CA right now who just came through the program. She's 60 days in, and she hasn't been as healthy since she went through hormone therapy 10 years ago. And she's like, I got it back. Like, you have given me such a gift. And, to hear those words is like, it's just fuel to my fire again to say, you know what, it's not just, a few people that need this. Like millions and millions of North Americans need this. You probably know the stats. We don't need to go into the stats of where our North American population is with our obesity rates and our sugar consumption and our chronic disease. But never has there been a time in history that more people need this more intensely than they do right now. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to pull a couple things from this too, is that, like when I was in practice, it was like, yeah, I'm not going to talk to patients. Like I should say when I was early in practice, I was just like, yeah, I only talk about one thing, and that's chiropractic subluxation. That's all.
Yep.
And then I became a little bit more open, maybe seasoned, a little less naive. I don't know. And then I started to open up, and I was like, yeah, then I started teaching actually and educating patients that actually what they're putting in their mouth is actually not helping them be healthy. And I started to see massive transformations in our office, but I never had a system, like a clear system that I could actually have other people duplicate what we were doing in our practice. But that's really what the secret is, isn't it, right now? Is like, that's what you've done, is you've actually created a system that is duplicatable, meaning like other doctors can reproduce those results in their office.
100%. So from that fire 7 years ago, or what, I guess it was 4 years ago, systems has been really where I've really been specializing in, is creating systems that are reproducible, both, for my own practice and then other practices, because, I consult right now or own portions of multiple practices. And, it's important to be able to have these systems. Otherwise you have nothing. If you can't reproduce your results, then what do you have? You're a one-off. And what you never have again is freedom. And that's been like a huge value to me. So what I've created with ChiroKeto is a way that it's a plug and play. I don't need you, like Ed, if you open a practice tomorrow, like, would you have time to go and learn the entire world of ketogenics? No, you wouldn't. Would you know how to help people get through constipation and the flu and all of the side effects that, if you don't do it right, will shun people away from it, and they'll never come back to one of the healthiest lifestyles they could possibly get because you did it wrong. Right? And so what I've created is it takes people from A to Z all the way through. It answers all their questions. And this is where the secret sauce is that's really come out and really has altered people's entire perception. Is we've done it in a way that allows people a level of accountability now. So it's not like you go to a Kohl's bookstore, you buy your little ketogenic book and you hide in your bathroom and try to implement this in your life. That's zero success. What we've got is an online community where all the learning happens online. Everything is happening. And the doctor, all he needs to do is put up a poster in his office and say, hey, we're having this keto guy come in. He's going to teach us all about keto at the same time. And boom, your practice has now been transformed. And what you'll see, and this is what's great about these keto people, is when you've transformed their lives in 60 days, that person is yours for life. They don't go anywhere because you have given them their life back. And I tell you, you want to talk about that feeling of success and gratitude when you've been able just to show people the light and say, I'm going to show you how to do it. You got to go do the work, but I'll show you how to do it. And they go and do it. And they're like, man, it is an amazing feeling when you get people going through that again and reducing inflammation and stopping that kind of the ridiculousness of the North American lifestyle.
And so this is something that you do consistently every like month in your practice?
We do it every 6 weeks.
Oh, every 6 weeks. Perfect. So like every 6 weeks. And then that means, so if it's 60 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
60-day protocol.
So you have a couple different groups going actually through at the same time.
We have
That's actually
one finishing up at the same time a new one is starting.
Exactly.
And that group is finishing up. They're encouraging the new group, saying, "Oh, you guys you're going to do awesome!" Like, it's so cool to see the older graduates nurturing the new grads along, right, taking them through the process.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been like I was like when it first started really coming together. And I saw this, and I saw how the older keto people and patients were part of this community, and they took it upon themselves to nurture the new ones through. And I mean, I just kind of like put them together in the right spot at the right time, add a little bit of, my juice to it. But the rest of it is the community. It's like, you can do this. And when you're part of the community, it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on at home. It doesn't matter that your husband says, you can't do it, or your kids tell you you're an idiot, or, a whole 100 other people say you can't. When everybody in your social group, which this now becomes, says you can do it, man, you can do it. I mean, and people get ridiculous results. Like, we guarantee 22 pounds. If you do what we say, you will lose 22 pounds or it's free. Like, we guarantee your results. And it's not those shitty kind that as soon as you go back to, a regular diet, like, you get to eat real food, as much food as you want. Like, you get to do all, like, you get to actually live. You're not on this ridiculous calorie reduced diet that you can't sustain over the long term.
So, for the docs who are listening right now and they're like really intrigued and they just want to check this out. So what's the URL? Where can they actually learn some more?
The URL is just ChiroKeto.com, with or without the dash between the two. And basically, it's just a book a call or start. We have a fast track program where we can be in your office running workshops in as little, like, honestly, as little as 10 days. You can start generating I mean, I don't like to throw about we all run businesses. So you have to know there's a fairly nice income side on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Like you can make a lot of money in your practice doing nothing. And so that means it's bottom line money, not top line money. We've all made great top line money, but it was like, what the hell? By the time I got to the bottom, there was no money. This is the bottom line money, right? This is the money that doesn't cost you anything to get up and running. And all of a sudden you're transforming lives and you're creating incredibly loyal patients.
And here's my experience is, especially in the online world, the virtual world, the ability to create something that is very low overhead, low liability, such as what you're speaking of, is a lot of the doctors that I talk to, they love the idea of this, the concept. They just, number one, they don't have time, they don't, to do it themselves,
it's
or
ridiculous
they just
amounts of time to invest to start.
Yeah, why reinvent the wheel? And the second part of it is they don't even know what they want to, like where to start or what to create. So, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me is that if you find someone who has done it before you, is obsessed about getting results for their patients, but also for other doctors in their office, then why not do it?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I was, this hit me like in January where I was like, dude, I know what's going to help change the healthcare in North America. It's 100 million pounds. That's the number. It's 100 million pounds. It's 5 million patients. It's chiropractors all over North America, all moving us out of this ridiculous sugar debt that we're all sitting in. I mean, I know this isn't a soapbox show, Ed, but I was just, I mean, I'll give you one statistic that still just blows my head away is that the average person in North America consumes 100 pounds of sugar a year. Yeah. And then, every one of us that's probably listening to this knows what sugar does in your body, what it does for chronic disease, what it does for mood, what it does for health, what it does for degenerative joint disease. It's just like on and on and on. And who better to lead the charge than chiropractors? It's time for a change.
Yeah.
Right. It's time for a change. And it's so easy to make happen. I mean, even if you wanted to generate, let's say you had a struggling practice and you didn't know anything about this whole keto world and you wanted to start to get new patient flow into your office. Facebook has been like an absolute gold mine and a total gold mine for us in our, so I'm involved directly with 11 practices right now. And that means that not that I consult for, but that I actually own a portion of. And in those 11 practices, Facebook has generated millions of dollars of revenue for us. And if you want more people in your practice, Facebook still is the place to grab it. Yeah. So what I had thought would be nice is anybody that wants to go to ChiroKeto.com and book a call with me or just start on a fast track program, I will give you our entire Facebook swipe file. So you can start doing that and generating some stuff, because right now you cannot ROI anything better than Facebook. You just cannot do it. So I'm going to give you an entire our swipe file for everything, so you can run all of your own Facebook stuff and really start, whether it's workshops or new patient generators, whatever. Just start.
I love that. Thank you for that, by the way. We love it when guests come on to the TCP podcast and give us incredible
free
value.
Shit.
Yeah, give us free shit. But no, I mean, honestly, like stuff that works.
Yes,
like because
absolutely.
I know and I respect. Like, I'm not a Facebook ads expert by any means, and I just got off a strategy call with someone who's major influencer in our profession. I'm just like, look, that's not I have a Facebook team, but that's not. Yeah. But from what I know of you, and as I've again we've reconnected, is I think number one, I still want to have the discussion about LinkedIn, because you're going to help me out with that.
I'm going to help you out with
that. With Facebook, I mean, again, you definitely have some ninja skills there. So here's what I'm going to do. Listeners, you can head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. We're going to have a webpage dedicated to our discussion with Dr. Kelly Polzin today. You can also find the clickable links for ChiroKeto.com. So you can go right there right away and actually take advantage of that incredible offer. I strongly encourage you to get on a call with him as well, or sign up for his fast track. The other part of this, if you're listening on your mobile, open your mobile, the show notes, and you'll find the clickable links right there, and you can connect with Dr. Polzin right now. All right, so Doc, we're going to put you into the TCB time machine. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I saw Grant Cardone's one with this. So
did I do it with him?
Oh, you sure did. You did. I was like, whoa, dude, you got nuts. That's good.
I'm trying to get him back on a different project right now. But okay, so here it is. Okay, so we're going to put you in the TCB time machine. We're going to send you back to a younger version of yourself. This is right after you came out of chiropractic college. You have all the knowledge, life experience you have today. What would you say to your younger self?
I would give myself some awesome advice. First and foremost, the very first thing I would say to myself is be kind to yourself. I would say, and I've seen this in other people than myself, but I don't know anybody that's harder on ourselves than ourselves. For a lot of us. And I tell you what, if I was a donkey, I would have beat myself beyond belief, right? I mean, nobody's harder on us than ourselves. I remember the words I used to say to myself that day that I took that selfie in that little office. I remember so clearly the words I said to myself. And I don't know, like nobody could say words as harsh as I said to myself that day. So I would say, just be kind to yourself. It'll all work out, right?
Yeah.
It'll all work out. And I would then say, but finish what you start. Like truly finish those things, right? Like in life, man, finishing is all great entrepreneurs. There's a million or a billion entrepreneurs out there that are great starters, but very few are great finishers. And when you've decided that you're going to do something, finish it. So this is what I've dedicated my life towards now. I know in my heart, this is what I'm doing now till I reach 100 million. And I'm okay with that because it's congruent with every area in my life. So
beautiful.
It feels good.
Wow. Okay. How about a resource? We're going to shift gears. So a resource. So anything you're reading, you are listening to, possibly it could be an application, like an app. What would you say that all doctors need to check out?
Okay. So first, Facebook. Every doctor should be on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you're not, man, I would say the guy that you should be following right now is Gary Vee. That guy will throw your head to a loop because he is a futurist. And every time I listen to him, I need to sit and breathe and calm down and refocus myself because, the world is shifting and you'd better be involved in the shift or you're going to get left behind. So
right.
Facebook, LinkedIn, those are the two things that I think are where everybody should be using. As for a resource on my cell phone, probably the thing that I think is the most powerful tool for me on here, other than Audible for listening to podcasts, which is a ridiculous resource, is actually a thing called Focus Timer or Focus Keeper. I use it. It's I don't know if you've heard of the Pompadama, the 25-minute timers that allow you to focus your brain for 25 minutes and then relax and totally defocus for 5. And they break your life up into work cycles of 25 minutes. That has been a game changer for me for productivity because I know, hey, I got all this other stuff out here and I get very clouded. And if I know I got my timer on, I got 25 minutes. And whether it's a 25-minute meditation, 25-minute emails, 25-minute whatever, I can say for the next 25 minutes, I'm not answering my phone. I'm going to just focus. And my productivity I've been using it for years, but only quite recently, like this past year, have I really made it a religion or a ritual. And whoa, do I love the results for that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I haven't heard that one before. I'm going to have to check it out.
Oh, you'll love it, man. You will love it. You'll be shocked when you put it on and it's all you can do is focus on that one task, how much you get done.
Interesting. I like it. All right. So listeners, again, you can head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. Again, we'll have a webpage dedicated to our discussion with Dr. Kelly today. Doc, I got to thank you for being on the show. Honestly, like some people think it's really hard to do a lot of interviews or to do podcasts. People like yourself actually make it quite easy. I just lob the questions your way and you fill in all the blanks. That's awesome. So thank you for giving back and helping our profession.
Thanks very much, Ed. I really appreciate you. And what you're doing, brother, it's awesome. So thank you.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.